Welcome to a very special presentation of YPA's Top 10 21. Hi, I'm Hannah Mears.
And I'm Lily Gabreski, one of the board members of the YPA, and we're so glad you could join us.
And since our founding of the Young Preservationist Association, we have put together a top 10 list of historic preservation opportunities.
We like to use the word opportunities because these are all places that could serve their community if they were to be saved.
And as many of you may know, it takes a lot of hard work from a lot of good people to preserve these sites.
It does. And just as we did last year, this is also our way of closing the year by highlighting all of the opportunities for work that we'll be focusing on in 2022.
And actually, Lily, this is my first year working with YPA, and I'm very excited because I hear that this has been YPA's most successful year ever.
It has. And to tell us more about that and to present this year's awards is our Executive Director, Matthew Craig.
Thank you, ladies. We have had a wonderful year, and a lot of it is because the seeds we have been planting over all these years are really starting to come to fruition. And it started about a year ago. If you'll recall, we were able to get the National Negro Opera Company House on the 11 most endangered list for the National Trust. That made a big difference. That was able to bring in $575,000 for that house to save it, and we're very hopeful that that will be preserved into the future. Secondly, we brought in an enormous amount of money to save the Penn McKee Hotel, $980,000 through our partnership with DJS Ventures and securing a grant from the EPA and also a matching grant from the state. That's going to make a big difference in McKeesport, but also up and down the Mon Valley, and we're hoping that that can be a catalyst for a lot of good things to follow. And then lastly, I'll just share with you quickly that we are continuing our work in Wilkinsburg at Whitney and Lamar Avenues and trying to restore that neighborhood, which is such a beautiful and historic place and really deserves to have a renewal brought into that neighborhood. So this is one of the best parts of my job, is the chance to shine the light on some others in our yearly awards. This year, our recipient is our Preservationist of the Year, and this is a good friend. His name is David Cayley, and he is with the Progress Fund. David has been such a good inspiration for me. I told him I really ought to pay him a royalty for the number of times I've quoted some of his sayings, and he taught me that historic preservation and economic development really needs cash registers. The more cash registers you have, the more resources that you have flowing through the building, the better that you are, because you just can't save a building because you like it. It needs to have a purpose. It needs to be able to earn a living. And so this year, David Cayley from the Progress Fund is our Preservationist of the Year.
So thank you, David, for your good work.
And while I'm thinking about thank yous, I would just also like to say a very heartfelt thank you to our chair of the board, Julie Collins. Julie will be stepping down at the end of this year, and she's been with us since 2014. The board of 2014 is the great group of people who were able to secure the funding that allowed YPA to hire its first executive director, and that's how I came into the picture. And Julie's leadership and her enthusiasm has been such a high water mark for us all these years that I just want to say thank you, Julie, for all that you've done, and we will certainly miss your leadership, but we wish you well. All right, and now back to our show.
Number 10, signage to commemorate local Underground Railroad sites. Our number 10 is usually a collective category where we highlight a larger issue that needs to be addressed rather than a single building. YPA will be setting out to work to make sure that significant Underground Railroad sites in our city and region are marked with a commemorative sign so that this history is not lost. This will be an enormous undertaking, and we will be asking for your support.
Number 9, Carlow University's former St. Agnes Church. While Pittsburgh has a number of amazing houses of worship, the former St. Agnes Church is a total work of art both inside and outside. It is believed to be one of the finest existing examples of the Lombardy Romanesque ecclesiastical designs of architect John Theodore Comez. Comez emigrated to the United States in 1882 and designed over 24 churches in the Pittsburgh area. He is credited as a leader in the advancement of church design. Pittsburgh area churches by Comez include St. Augustine Roman Catholic Church, All Saints Church, and St. John the Baptist Church. In 2013, a state historic marker honoring Comez's contributions to church architecture was placed at St. Agnes until Carlow removed it in 2020. It was the first marker in western Pennsylvania to honor an architect. St. Agnes has also been listed by Preservation PA for their 2021 at-risk list.
Number 8, the former State Bank of Elizabeth. Built in 1903, this is a 3-story, corner Classical Revival building that originally housed the State Bank of Elizabeth. The stone and brick structure features cornice details of columns and figures. It remained in operation as a bank, most recently as PNC, until closing in late 2020 due to decline in foot traffic and pandemic conditions. The building also once housed phone operator office and apartments. The building is currently vacant and recently put up for sale. In recent years, the Elizabeth Moose, former Top 10 site, and other historic buildings were demolished with poor planning to become a parking lot. This Elizabeth business district is small and compact, so any loss without new development impacts the district and the historic integrity of the small community.
Number 7, Century 3 Mall. Century 3 Mall opened as one of the largest indoor shopping centers in the greater Pittsburgh region and in the country at the end of the 1970s. It hosted 5 major anchors and nearly 200 shops, becoming a popular shopping and leisure destination. With changes such as economic decline, shopping trends, and other nearby commercial centers, Century 3 began to decline with the loss of shops and deteriorating conditions. The mall closed its doors in 2019, and its last anchor closed in 2020. It is a huge structure, over 1 million square feet, and over 400 acres of land, but the mall features brutalism architectural designs representative of this period in history. Exterior walls are marked with patterns that intersect with varying materials that give the mall distinction among its regional counterparts. Intersectional among floors and walkways also stand out among mall patrons. The mall itself was built on a slag pile, giving it connections to the region's industrial narrative.
Number 6, Tito Mecca Ziza House. Given its connection to organized crime, this next nomination is somewhat controversial. The house at 1817 Fifth Avenue exemplifies Victorian architecture that includes Queen Anne and Italian Renaissance stylistic elements and is one of the few remaining late 19th century homes in a neighborhood that has experienced much change over the past half-century. The Tito House was constructed during the 1880s when similar homes were built in this Fifth Avenue corridor. Joe Tito, a first-generation Italian-American, was a bootlegger during Prohibition and then got into gambling activities. Besides bootlegging and the numbers, Tito also played a role in the rise of the Pittsburgh Crawfords Negro League baseball team through his partnership with Gus Greenleaf. Also of interest is the connection to the development of the brewing industry in Pittsburgh. Tito and his brothers brought the Latrobe Brewing Company, a defunct Westmoreland County brewery. Frank Tito, the younger brother, operated the brewery's first wholesale beer distributorship in the building behind the Tito home at 1818 Colwell Street. It became the first place where Rolling Rock beer was sold.
Number 5, Union Station, Brownsville. Built in 1929, Union Station is the former station for the Monongahela Railway, located in Brownsville, Pennsylvania. It's a 5-story building built of reinforced concrete with a facade of brick, granite, and marble. And its position at the front end of the town makes it an important gateway into the community. Working with our partner DJS Ventures, YPA hopes to help transform this important asset back into a working building for the community of Brownsville.
Number 4, 500 Donner Monessen. The Monessen Savings and Trust Bank building was completed in 1905 and served as a bank into the 1920s on the corner of Donner Avenue and 5th Street. Additional businesses and offices were housed in this building after the bank closed, most recently Health Mart. The site has been vacant and deteriorating for well over 20 years now. Built in the Beaux Arts style, this 3-story commercial building features stone arches along its 5th Street facade and much more detailed stonework in its balconies, pilasters, and storefront on the main facade. The City of Monessen recently received an $199,000 grant for the stabilization.
Number 3, Monessen's 5th Avenue Hotel. Monessen's 5th Avenue Hotel was built in 1900, and it's the oldest commercial structure standing in the city. Its sister building is the Clareton Inn in Clareton, PA. The building was once one of 7 hotels in downtown, and it is now the only remaining hotel standing. The building has been vacant since the 1990s. It has a unique facade with tin cornices that come from Monessen's founding industry, the American Tin Plate Company, which was founded by William Donner. The hotel housed gambling joints and prostitution rings and was raided multiple times during Prohibition. The hotel primarily served bank and mill executives visiting Monessen. The city is hoping to find a new owner who will fix this beautiful building.
Number 2, Saints Peter and Paul Church, East Liberty. Famous for its role in the film Dogma, Saints Peter and Paul Roman Catholic Church's twin Gothic spires soar over Pittsburgh's East Liberty neighborhood. Designed by Adolphus Druiding and completed in 1891, changes in the neighborhood and the decline of its original congregation led to the closure and eventual sale of this building back in 1997. As a part of its transformative work in Pittsburgh, the East Liberty Development Corporation acquired Saints Peter and Paul for redevelopment in 2014. Just this past year, the Rooney Sports and Entertainment Group has been brought in to study how to reimagine, preserve, and reopen this historic building as a resource for the East Liberty community. YPA has had significant involvement in these efforts and pledges to see this through to full restoration.
And our number 1 for 2021, Mellon Bank East Liberty. A fine example of Mellon Bank's Pittsburgh-based exceptional architecture and design program leading up to and during the 1960s. The former Mellon Bank East Liberty was designed and completed between 1969 and 1970 at the convergence of major thoroughfares of Penn and Center Avenues. It is one in a small but mighty collection of modernist Mellon Bank branches in our city and region. Completed in a 20th century corporate modern style, the design integrates a steel frame construction, soaring glass windows, terrazzo panels, aluminum and custom glazed brick of a deep emerald green hue, and is reflective changing taste of the nation towards styles that embrace the tenets of modernism as applied to civic and commercial public facilities and amenities.
Thank you for joining us for this special presentation of our 2021 Top 10. Please visit our website, youngpreservationist.org, and consider becoming a member. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram.
And from all of us at YPA to you and yours, have a wonderful holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Be well.